Staying with us. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Bena TV. Now let's move to our first story. The government budget statement and economic policy for the budgetary year ending December 31, 2024 have been approved by Parliament following a head count of members with 138 votes to the minorities 136. Speaker of the House, Alban Sumanokis von Bagbin, announced the results.
During the budget approval vote on Wednesday, November 29th, Mr. Emmanuel Ama Kofi Boah, the deputy minority leader, questioned the speaker's assertion that "I think ayes have it." As a result, he asked for a head count. Mr. Osei Chei Mensah Bonsu, the majority leader and the leader of government business in Parliament, along with his deputy, Mr. Alexander Kwamna Afenyo-Markin, vehemently opposed the deputy minority leader's request. There was a walkout as a result of the Speaker's decision to hold a head count in which each member of Parliament stood up at his or her seat to be named and counted. The decision did not sit well with the New Patriotic Party parliamentary majority. On Thursday, November 30th, during the House session, the Speaker ordered the Business Committee to reschedule the motion for approval of the budget for Thursday, December 7th. However, when the Speaker puts the budget approval to a vote on Thursday, December 7th, during the sitting, the 137 NPP MPs and one independent, Mr. Andrew Amwaku Esiama, a member of Parliament for Fomena, voted in bulk to approve the budget by 138 votes. With one member not present in the chamber, the opposition NDC minority cast 136 votes against the budget. On November 15th of this year, the budget was presented to Parliament by Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, the Finance Minister.
Away from that, personnel who completed their required one-year service requirement this year will have their arrears paid by the National Service Scheme Management. The payment, released on Friday, December 8, 2023, covers arrears from January 2023 to May 2023.
In a press release on Thursday, December 7th, 2023, the scheme's management stated that the government still had not paid the arrears for the month of June and October. It expressed gratitude to the service members for their endurance in waiting for these allowances to be paid. They received an assurance that every effort was being made to settle the remaining allowances.
Meanwhile, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has affirmed that the proposed legislation titled Promotion of Proper Human Rights and Ghanaian Family Values will be enacted before Parliament recess for the festive season. This assurance follows recent accusation by sponsors of the anti-gay bill, claiming that the majority in Parliament is obstructing its passage. The controversy emerged when the First Deputy Speaker reportedly declined a request to move the bill to the consideration stage.
Mr. Samuel Nate George, a proponent of the bill and member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, accused the majority caucus of intentionally impeding the legislative process. He asserted that the next approach would involve exposing majority of MPs allegedly influenced by individuals advocating for LGBTQ+ activities in the country. The majority caucus has refuted these allegations. Kwame Eyimadu Entry, chairman of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee in Parliament, denied claims of sabotage, asserting that the Ningo Pram MP is aware of the underlying issues causing delays in the bill's passage. In response to the parliamentary developments, Bagbin expressed confidence that the bill would be approved before the House adjourns for the Christmas and New Year break. He emphasized the collective expectations to address the legislation properly, underscoring potential consequence for members' political careers if it is not enacted before the recess.
Well, in business this week, the Ghana Revenue Authority says entities who charge the electronic transfer levy are to be blamed for wrongful charges of the levy. According to the authority, these entities had failed to comply with the stipulated guidelines on connecting the electronic levy management. These guidelines have been communicated to the charging entities for their information and compliance. This follows the receipt of numerous compliance of wrongful e-levy charges following the commencement of the second phase of the implementation on July 1st, 2022.
The entities responsible for charging include mobile money operators and payment services providers. It is explained that wrongfully charges happens when a customer of a charging entity was charged a levy that were not supposed to be charged. The Ghana Revenue Authority said this situation may arise as a result of the non-cancellation of reservations. That is, payment processes that are not followed through by charging entities, failure to update TIN or Ghana card PIN on the common platform by charging entities, failure of customers to furnish charging entities with Ghana card PIN or TIN, non-integration of channels on the common platform by charging entities, and wrongfully reporting onto the common platform by charging entities.
In other stories, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu Jinapor, has insisted that Ghana will not allow the export of lithium in its raw state. The minister's explanation follows numerous criticism of the mining lease granted to the Barari DV Limited, a subsidiary of Atlantic Lithium, for the 11 exploration of lithium at the Ewoya concessions in the central regions.
The Ministry and the Minerals Commission have said the lithium deal is one of the best terms for Ghana and will be strictly enforced. For this reason, Mr. Jinapor said the government had infused in the lithium agreement between it and Barari DV Ghana Limited a clause that ensures the retention of a significant part of the mining value chain locally. Addressing a press briefing on Ghana's first lithium contract, terms, benefits and the way forward on Thursday, December 7th, 2023, Mr. Jinapor insisted that the lithium mining lease includes provisions for the establishment of a refinery and the provision of the lithium byproducts to local industries. Hence, the decision to process lithium locally was in the best interest of the state. The minister enlisted significant advantages expected from the implementation of the lithium deal, disclosing that the execution of the contract will give Ghana 10% in the form of royalties, which will be one of the highest in the country's mineral exploration. Mr. Jinapor affirmed that the lithium contract is in the best ultimate interest of all Ghanaians. The Chief Executive Officer for Minerals Commission, Mr. Martin Ayisi, pointed out that the critical statement made by some individuals on the deal stems from a lack of thorough reading of the agreement, noting that many of the concerns raised are based on inaccurate assumptions and unsupported assertions. Mr. Ayisi explained that the $250 million project located in Ewoya and Fantaman municipality in the central region is set to commence production by 2025. The deal includes a 10% royalty and 13% free carried interest by the state, surpassing the existing 5% and 10% respectively for other mining agreements. He noted that the Barari DV Ghana Limited is also required to contribute 1% of its revenue to a community development fund for the upliftment of the mining area. Mr. Edward Nanayao Kwanting, Chief Executive for Mineral Income Investment Fund, financial benefits to Ghana, saying MIIF identified opportunities of undervalued share at the time of closing the transaction with a locked-in price of USD per share, an intrinsic value ranging of 1.25 USD to 1.9 USD per share.
Also, the Narcotics Control Commission has seized a truck carrying 12,600 slabs of compressed cannabis close to Akosombo in the eastern region. The truck was seized on Saturday, December 2nd, 2023, after it was discovered abandoned in the bush during an intelligence-led operation.
180 sacks of cannabis were found hidden in chicken feed after the truck was searched. After the 180 sacks were examined, 12,600 slabs of compressed cannabis were found. While more research is conducted, NACOC is in charge of the truck that was stopped and contained the drug exhibits. Regarding the seizure, no suspects were taken into custody. Section 3942 of the Narcotic Control Commission Act 2020, Act 1019, forbid the cultivation, importation, exportation, unlawful possession or control, and business related to narcotic plants, as NACOC reminded the public in a statement. Likewise, the Narcotics Control Commission Amendment Act 2023 special provision regarding cannabis with a maximum of 0.3% THC content on a dry weight basis for industrial purpose to obtain fiber or seed or for medicinal purpose does not automatically mean that cannabis is legal.
In other stories, traders at the Kumasi Central Market are in state of despair after a private developer allegedly seized their trading area, deployed land guards to brutalize their security personnel, and vandalize the roofs of their shops. The traders who have been occupying that portion of the Central Market for over 40 years are unable to continue their businesses as the private developer is claiming ownership of the land, compelling them to evacuate.
The affected traders are devastated at the prospect of losing their livelihoods. One of the traders lamented that they have been there for over 40 years and that the land is the only source of income for their families. The traders are urging the government and relevant authorities to intervene and protect their rights. They believe that the private developer is acting illegally and that they should be allowed to continue trading in the market. The situation is further complicated by the unclear ownership of the land. The traders claim that the land belongs to the Ghana Railway Authority, while the private developer claims to have the ownership right. The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly has stated that they are investigating the matter to verify the true ownership of the land. The traders are also frustrated by the lack of transparency in the process. They claim that they were not informed of the court ruling that allegedly granted ownership of the land to the private developer, and they have not been given any opportunity to challenge the ruling. The traders are pleading with the government to step in and protect their rights. They are calling for an independent investigation into the matter and for the private developer to be held accountable for their actions.
And in politics this week, the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress has stressed the party's resolve not to entertain any form of indiscipline and vandalism from members. This follows the vandalism of the party's head office in Accra by some aggrieved supporters of Michael Ni Yaboy, a disqualified aspiring parliamentary candidate in the Ododo-Diodio constituency.
The angry supporters heaped refuse in front of the party head office and blocked the road, slowing traffic. Some of the supporters also threw bricks at the party head office, damaging some windows of the building. Mr. Kwete, in a statement issued on Monday, said, "Notice is hereby served that any member who disregards or violates the laid down grievance resolution procedures of the party will be severely dealt with in accordance with the law." The statement went further to say, leadership of the party will not countenance any act of indiscipline, vandalism, and anti-party behavior that have the potential to bring the name of the party into disrepute. The NDC General Secretary emphasized that throughout the conduct of the party's parliamentary primaries from last year until date, any aspirant found to be in breach of the mandatory 4-year membership requirement had been disqualified by the party. Added Michael Ni Yaboy Anan will not be treated differently. Mr. Kwete said the party was governed by established rules and principles of equity, fairness and justice, and that no member of the party is bigger than or above the party. He again emphasized that the constitution of the party has clearly provided internal procedures and mechanism for addressing intra-party grievances. He therefore entreated members of the party of any decision to seek redress in strict adherence to the dictates of the constitution of the party.
Still on politics, the New Patriotic Party has granted its flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, additional time to select his running mates for the upcoming elections. This follows a crucial meeting by the New Patriotic Party's National Executive Committee and National Council concerning the topic on Wednesday, December 6, 2023.
The party's constitution usually requires the vice president candidate to be chosen 1 year before elections. However, considering Dr. Bawumia's relatively recent election as flag bearer, the party's leadership has chosen to waive their requirement. The party's National Council, which has the power to make exemptions to the party's rules, agreed with Dr. Bawumia's request to pick his running mate later. This means that Dr. Bawumia will have more time to consider his options and pick the best person to be his running mate. Addressing the press after a National Council meeting on Thursday, General Secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong Kodua, noted that the National Council agreed with the request of the party's flag bearer.
Away from politics, the Abontindom Hene of Guans, Nana Enim Obri, has urged parents to sacrifice their luxury in order to be able to support their children to pursue their education. The traditional chief made this call on Sunday, 3rd December 2023, when chiefs and people of Gonjaland in Accra celebrated their annual Samba Festival at Kawokudi in Accra to showcase their cultural and traditional rites.
The celebration was a colorful one which attracted many dignitaries, such as Nana Enim Obri, Abontindom Hene, the King of Mamprusi, Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim Swantaba, Professor Joshua Alabi, and Professor Ahmed Jinapo, among others. In his keynote address, Nana Enim Obri, the Abontindom Hene, while accounting for the historical facts that led to the spread of guans across the length and breadth of the country, also said parents can only sponsor their children to attain the much-needed education when they are ready to make a lot of sacrifice.
The guans have a story to tell because we are the indigenous people of this country called Ghana. We occupied here before any of the tribes came to settle here. And because we are peace-loving people, we stay in our lands peacefully. But we were attacked time and again by marauding tribes who are coming to find a place to stay. And by so doing, they scattered us all over the country. And so today we have guans in Salaga, we have guns in Gonjaland, we have guns in Damango, we have guns in Tripoli, we have guns in the Volta region, talk about in Konya, talk about KJB, thereabouts. Lipe Mate and others. Go to the central region, they attacked us there and divided us. And so some of the guans settled in Winneba, others also have to flee to the western region. In the south, we were attacked time and again by the Twi-speaking people. And so some of us have to seek refuge on the hills. That's why come that the Okri people occupy now the mountains, the Akwapi Mountains. And so we have endured tremendous hardship. And other tribes have cowered us into submission, a position which is unacceptable. And so what we have now is education. So I urge all Guans to take education very, very seriously. Let us educate our children. Let us sacrifice whatever. It is difficult. It is not easy. The financial burden involved is not easy. But I urge our brothers, to take up the mantle and give our children the best education that they can offer. Because a future educated Guans and Gonjas will be a great force to contend with.
He also praised the youth of the Gonjas for finding the need to celebrate their annual Damba festival, which he said will contribute to the peace and unity among the people of Gonja land and others.
For the Guan family. So it is good that today the youth of Gonja land have found it fit that we will come together and celebrate, because we have prevailed. Our warriors also fought back and made sure that we got some of the lands that today we occupied. I paid tribute to our leaders, to our warriors, Jilakpa and others.
Professor Joshua Alabi, who also represented the former president, John Dramani Mahama, shed more light on the 24-hour economy, the benefits it will bring to the community and the country as a whole, where he said the 24-hour economy will have an impact, especially in the field of agro-process, to support young people in farming.
Excellency aims to address the unemployment problem through the implementation of the 24-hour economy. This policy, sparking considerable interest in the country, is poised to be a significant game changer. It is not about one man working for 24 hours, as some people are trying to portray. The concept generally refers to an economic model where businesses and services operate around the clock, aiming to boost productivity and create more job opportunities. It is preferably a three-shift system, and I repeat, a three-shift system of 8 hours each, by creating the enabling environment that promotes productivity, competitiveness, and well-paying jobs. Some areas that will benefit from this include agro-processing, and when we talk of agro-processing, it means we need more raw materials for that industry, which means that we have more of the youth also going to farming and more also being employed in the processing.
In the end, the king of Kusasi of Accra, Dr. Mohammed Ibrahim Swataba, called on the users of the internet, that is social media, to use it for the benefit of themselves and society.
Social media na damu mu gaskiya. Yara mu nan sun doke su ba suna aiki da shi kan da zamu yi mu ci gaba bane. Suna kawo shetanki tsakanin mu da zuna da bai da kyau. Don shi mu zamu yi magana mu bar yufu su san kaman social media na an kawo shi na amfani ne, ba wa an kawo shi mu doki mu ta create problem da zuna ba, wannan bai taimaka mu. Yau rana ne da ranar da zamu jin dadi na mu Northerners ba Gonjas kare ba, because hadin ke shi zai bar mu duka mu ji dadi. To mu duka mun zama abu guda ne da muka fito northern side of Ghana. Gonjawa sun zama mutane ne da addini na kansu, suna da unity. Cikin rigin mu nan duka muna ganin kamar mu muna ba su girma. ni iri na ne kusasi ne da na zama sarkin kusasi kuma na akranga na bile kuma yau gwanjawa mu da suke komai in za su yi wani abu suna invite mu mu zo mu taimake su damba ya zama abu da mu nord na zuka muna fari a bitan ne damba na gama hankulan mu ina bar mu san kamar mu duka mun zama abu guda.
At the occasion, the kings and the queen mothers also displayed their traditional rights towards the Gonja overlord by bowing down to show their respect to their king. They also shared food to other tribes as their tradition demands.
This is all we have for you in our weekend news update. For more stories, log on to our website, bainamultimedia.com. I'm Khadija Kubra Keilani. Many thanks for doing the watching. Have a good evening.